We're going to be in an environment in this new world where so much is digitalized that both state and non-state actors are going to have the capacity to disrupt our lives in all sorts of ways. We have to do a much better job of guarding against that.
All right, you know, to me, if ever there was an example of this man acting like a college professor or an analyst, instead of the leader of the free world whose job it is to protect his people above all else, my God, how pathetic. Joining us is Fred Fleitz, Senior Fellow at the Center for Security Policy and former CIA and DIA official. Hey, Fred.
Hey, Steve. Good to be here.
Well, thank you. You wrote a great piece talking about 2 overlooked lessons from the North Korea Sony hack, and I just want to concentrate on this. You know, for the President of the United States, as we're being threatened by North Korea, he just finished saying it was not an act of war. It was an act of cyber vandalism, which is right out of the playbook of Van Jones, his soulmate, who called the burners and the looters and the robbers in Ferguson knuckleheads. And now he's sitting there saying, well, you know, lots of people are going to disrupt our lives with cyber attacks. We just have to get, used to it. What is that?
I'm really baffled by these comments, Steve. What North Korea did, I think, is sort of small potatoes in the cyber war we're facing. We know that Russian and Chinese hackers have targeted the U.S. power grid, software that runs oil pipelines, nuclear power plants.
The banks.
This isn't just vandalism. This is a threat to our security. This is a threat that could cost lives.
Yeah, lives in so many ways. No money in the bank all of a sudden, no electricity, which would be disaster. I mean, and I just get the feeling that we're really doing nothing about it. But let me ask you this. North Korea has basically said today, if you retaliate against us for Sony, we're going to hit you with a bigger cyber attack. And when they threatened a 9/11 type attack if they showed that movie, I don't think they were talking about a boom. I think they were talking about a bigger cyber attack.
Well, there are a lot of pundits and politicians saying we should retaliate against the North Koreans. I think that would be like beating a hornet's nest with a stick. I don't know what it would accomplish. I think they should be put back on the state-sponsored terror list. I think we should basically make them think long and hard before they get any more aid or diplomatic talks. We've heard this kind of rhetoric from the North Koreans before, and I think if we did retaliate against them, they would respond in kind, probably by attacking U.S. forces in the region or maybe some type of attack against South Korea. I'm a little skeptical about how large a cyber attack they could conduct or whether their missiles could hit the U.S., but I don't think we need to take chances with them.
Well, okay, but then Fred, then we got to obey what they say. I mean, where do we draw the line?
No, we don't. What we need to do is to deal with the larger question of cyber warfare, which is mostly being posed by China, Russia, and frankly by Iran. North Korea is more of an irritant in this war. They can do damage. We need to focus on them. The Heritage Foundation put out a report in October of 36 major attacks against U.S. businesses from January to October of this year. Russia and China was involved in every single one, well, almost every single one of them. I'm concerned that we're going to focus so much on attacking or retaliating to North Korea, we're going to lose the fact that they are a bit player in a major war.
All right, well, what is it going to take? Can we shore up our cyber defenses to the point where we're, I can't say safe 100%, but where we're pretty darn safe, and at the same time, maybe do we have the capability, show these countries we have the capability to do it right back to them?
We need a much more aggressive offensive and defensive cyber capability. We need to partner with Silicon Valley to basically get software manufacturers to build in measures to protect these systems when they're being built, not to throw it in later. And we need an education program for U.S. companies. Sony's cyber protections were frankly a joke, and it's a joke across the board because companies are not taking this seriously. The U.S. government has to get after corporations and say, this is a real threat, not just for U.S.-based cyber hackers, but from hostile countries.
All right, so what I'm getting from you, unfortunately, is we're sitting ducks right now.
I think we're sitting ducks until we take major steps to get serious about the cyber warfare threat.
Yeah. Fred, Merry Christmas to you, sir. Thank you for all you do for us, and we'll speak to you soon.
Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah.
Take care. Thank you. Fred Fleitz, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Steve Malzberg Show. And that's it. We're sitting ducks until, well, there's no until it happens. So we're sitting ducks. Let's all pray for ourselves on the Steve Malzberg Show. John Gizzi's next.